When Donald Trump waddled back into the Oval Office in January of this year, the economy was not in crisis. It's an economy that has problems. We have people who can't afford what it costs to live, to rent an apartment. We have wages that over long periods of time haven't kept up with inflation, although for shorter periods recently they have. We have poverty, we have hunger, we have lack of health insurance. There's no question that there are problems to solve without a doubt. And we have significant inequality. But when Trump re entered the Oval Office, Biden handed him, objectively speaking, low unemployment, steady GDP growth, cool and stable inflation, job creation numbers that were quite good. And so while we still had problems to solve, by global standards, the US economy was the envy of the world. I know that it's sort of cliche to say that, but people in so many different countries would look at the circumstances at the time of the handover from Biden to Trump in January of this year and say that was a pretty good economy. And Donald Trump's assignment was relatively straightforward. You don't really need a master plan. You don't even really need new ideas. Just don't screw it up. Just sit there, look smug, and take credit, even though you did nothing. And if you look historically, presidents have coasted on far, far less. Think back to when Barack Obama won re-election. Had Mitt Romney defeated Obama in 2012, Romney could have come in, done nothing, and had a great economy because it was clear that the combination of the accelerating recovery from the Great Recession combined with a global business cycle that was at a favorable point in time. Obama's second term had a great economy, but if Mitt Romney had won and done nothing, he also would have had a great economy. But that's not what Donald Trump did when he came back in January. And so the point of this story is that the cracks we are now seeing in the economy are self-inflicted. These are unforced errors that Donald Trump has created himself. He almost couldn't help himself. He, within months, started slamming tariffs on imports. They're on, they're off, they're lower, they're higher, we're threatening, we're doing this, we're doing that. But the effect of it has been extraordinarily problematic. He picked these trade fights. He bragged that he's bringing in cash from foreign countries, even though, of course, you know by now that it's American companies that pay the tariffs. And the fallout is now starting to become a real problem for Donald Trump. Wholesale prices are going up. Wholesale vegetable prices are up 38%. Supply chains are jittery. Farmers, grocers, and restaurants are feeling the squeeze. Thanks to Trump's DC fiasco, restaurant reservations in DC are down 30%. Job creation is hitting new low after new low. Manufacturing indices are as low as they've been in years. And so Trump promised we're going to have more growth than ever. He ended up getting negative GDP growth for a quarter. Trump promised we're going to get grocery prices down. They're actually up. Trump promised we would see a decline in prices, meaning an inflation rate that is lower than zero, a negative inflation rate. That hasn't happened. It's probably a good thing it hasn't happened. Negative inflation rates often lead to deflationary spirals. It's not a good thing. But these are all self-inflicted wounds, and they were completely foreseeable in their impacts. When economists looked at these proposals, and I'm using the term proposal sort of charitably, when Donald Trump goes, tariff everyone, it's not exactly a proposal in the technical sense of the word, but when economists analyze the tax bill and Trump's tariff rates that he floated and all of this stuff, economists said this will create a problem. This is going to lead to higher prices. This is going to lead to lower jobs numbers. It's what's going to happen. And so when you have a global pandemic, it's unforeseeable. It might be broadly foreseeable. At some point but the point is the specific timing of the COVID pandemic, that was not foreseeable in the way that slamming tariffs on everyone would have a foreseeable impact. The 2008 financial crisis. Yes, in a general sense, there were people sounding the alarm. This mortgage stuff is going to be a problem. But the specific timing, it came down and people had to deal with it. This is stuff that Trump has created on his own. He inherited a fine economy in pretty good shape, and in record time, he managed to light it on fire. Now, there's a little bit of an irony to this. Trump spent 2024 fear-mongering that if Joe Biden gets reelected, his disaster economy will get even worse. Or when it became Kamala Harris as the nominee, Trump switched to, we will have a 1929 style depression if she wins, and communism, Marxism, socialism, all this stuff. But by every single measure, jobs, inflation, GDP, Biden had pulled the US economy out of COVID's tailspin and into a recovery. And now Donald Trump is in with policies that are making the recovery unravel. And as it almost always is the case in countries with the sort of inequality and wealth and income distribution that we have, Trump's not paying the price. His billionaire cabinet picks and friends, they might not like some of these policies, but it doesn't affect their financial viability and that of their household. It's the middle class folks, it's the working poor that end up getting screwed with the higher prices and weaker job security. And all of this is a result of Trump's instability caused by the ego-driven trade war and all of the other economic fiascos so far. So the bottom line here is that Trump really could have coasted. You all know that I just look at the data. And for several months before any of the things Donald Trump did, the data were fine. The economic indicators were like, everything is basically fine. But now we're seeing the cracks and now we're seeing the degradation. So Trump should have done, it takes, you've got to suppress your ego to do it. Trump could have said, I'm not going to blow everything up. I'm just going to coast. And then I'll say, it's my great economy. He could have gone golfing without being criticized as much as he is. But instead, he manufactured an economic crisis that did not need to exist. It is a 100% self-inflicted crisis. And what I'm curious to see is whether voters hold him accountable for it in November of next year. The midterm's now just 14 and a half months away. What do you think? Do you believe MAGA voters are going to hold Trump and Republicans accountable if the economy continues to crack? Or are they going to blame Democrats or just ignore it and keep checking the box for people with R's next to their names? Let me know what you think. Your personal data is everywhere and you might not even know. People search sites and data brokers are quietly publishing your name, address, phone number, even things like property records, political views. It is not just creepy, it's dangerous because scammers and fraudsters and shady marketers can use this information every day. Our sponsor, Incogni, solves the problem for you. Incogni contacts the data broker sites on your behalf and forces them to delete your data. The data brokers are legally obligated to comply, and Incogni handles the entire process for you. Incogni is now taking this even further with their custom removals feature included in the unlimited plan. They've got their 250 plus sites where removal is automated, but if you find your information anywhere else, you can custom submit that and they will have it removed manually. This is serious protection. Using Incogni can cut way down on the spam calls and the messages that you get. Fewer risks, more control over your identity. Try it risk-free for 30 days and get 60% off an annual plan when you go to incogni.com/Pakman. The link is in the description.